Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a nice day. So today I want to talk about Hex being up over 2,700% for this year. Um, and we want to talk about the latest interview with Richard Hart on Kitco News that I thought was an excellent series of interviews and videos. And of course, we want to also just talk about our project, Bitcoin MYK. A lot of people don't know that some of the inspiration behind Bitcoin MYK came from Hexcoin, right? There were some very early ideas that existed in Hexcoin, specifically dealing with wells that the Bitcoin MYK project embraced quite a bit. And we still embrace till this day. Unfortunately, it's not performing as great as Hex, but today we're going to talk about some of the reasons in the future why it might, and we also want to talk about some of what's happening with the future of the Hex Coin project. So many of you all who watch the channel, we're not on our main channel. I'll be linking back to our main channel, Education Entertainment TV. And we will be uploading these videos to the Education Entertainment TV channel as well. So some people probably over there haven't seen it yet, but it will be over there. Um, if you're familiar with our channel, you would probably know that we were one of the first people to report on Hex many years ago. And as it's brought out in this controversy with Hex, or the interviews, that it had been accused of being scams. It had been, accused of the creator, Richard Hart, had been accused of participating in some illegal activities. And so there was just this big media circus around Hex, and of course, a lot of tribalism that exists with many of the other major cryptocurrencies, exchanges. And again, if you got to watch this interview with Kitco News, you will know a lot of that came out during the interview. But I want to talk specifically about the Hex Coin project. Makes so much sense now going to its own blockchain, the Post blockchain. And I want to talk in relation to why Bitcoin MYK makes so much sense. As like I said, a lot of inspiration with Bitcoin MYK, especially in the very early days, came from Hex. Although they ultimately are a great deal different, somewhat even in philosophies. But there are some things that are similar, and there are just things about these projects that make sense, which don't surprise me that the Hexcoin project was up 2,700% this year. So, also some predictions were made on the Bitcoin crash. Bitcoin crashing 85%, which this has happened in the past. This is not fiction. We know that this can happen with Bitcoin. I think especially now with the potential threat of the infrastructure bill that is on the table here in the United States, that can create a domino effect across cryptocurrencies and through the globe. I think that this news even makes it even more likely if it wasn't so much before. We got to see Bitcoin drop um, almost 50% just on Elon Musk tweets for the most part. So all this adds up to this is a very quite possible, right? But I think Richard Hart even makes even a better case about some of the problems and the imperfections with Bitcoin, where it is not going to perform very well in some of the rudimentary areas that would give Bitcoin value. Some economists believe that for something to be a store of value, it has to function first good as a currency and so on and so forth. And we know Bitcoin is not that. Also, if you compare a Bitcoin to something like Hex, unlike Bitcoin that was meant to be a digital currency, Hex always kind of, from its inception, knew what it wanted to be, and it was designed to be what the market was suggesting people want to see specifically in crypto, and that is price gains. And I think if we're all honest, we know that to be true, that most people come to cryptocurrency just to make money. It's not so much that their lives are dependent on this technology to function. We've had an existing, functioning, in some cases flourishing set of economies before cryptocurrency, right? So someone, I think, put it best when they said, if the stock market goes away, we got big problems. If cryptocurrency goes away, we know we can live without cryptocurrency. Um, and so the ideas that get expressed in Bitcoin oftentimes have translated to some as this is not really a good use case for things, right? And because of that, Bitcoin, outside of being a speculative device, will always have problems and issues, in being able to be create this very useful technology for people. In other words, besides the speculation, a lot of people probably wouldn't be invested in Bitcoin or use Bitcoin. Um, Now, the interesting thing about Hex is if you will take the modern day arguments as to what gives Bitcoin value and why people invest in Bitcoin, then in relation to something like Hexcoin would make a lot more sense because Hexcoin has taken all of those areas and created a product designed around that to be to work the most efficient in those areas. Even when you're looking at the idea of staking, the idea of gaining interest, like programmable interest on your blockchain money, the system in Hex is designed to allow you to see when people come out of their stake, so you have a lot more market data and a determination of many of the factors and things that are going to be of great concern to you, and that is what selling pressure and what impact on the market going to change the value of your investment. And so when you look at all this stuff and you look at you can move Hex cheaper, more efficient than Bitcoin, when you look at that, it has this very well programmed system that cuts out minor inflation and gives it back to the users. Because under Metcalfe's law, what makes a network valuable is really going to be the participants in that market. And what are participants going to want to see? My belief is in the end, participants are going to want to see better products, right? And more useful products. And that's going to drive people to want to use them more. And the more that network builds up, the more value it gains, the more value your investment gains. But if you're fixed on just the speculation game that exists in Bitcoin that has no further development, that has no future vision of creating something better in an environment where people are advancing every day and everything around us, and we are just a goal-oriented species of advancement, then Bitcoin's outdated technology, in a sense, uh, once the pressure comes up against the narrative of Bitcoin, it can easily start to collapse, right? So these hex coin projects, these Bitcoin MYK projects, make a lot more sense than what you're going to find with your traditional cryptocurrency projects, and I think that's why they perform so well. Just like Hexcoin, Bitcoin MYK is designed in a way where there are certain mechanisms that play through its deflation. It's more deflationary than Bitcoin. It is in at least an idea, it moves and feels like a Bitcoin fork, which means that if you have Bitcoin at any time, you can claim Bitcoin MYK. So I tend to not even really think about Bitcoin MYK so much like a cryptocurrency on its own blockchain, as much as kind of like an overlay to Bitcoin, how you might look at Bitcoin Lightning, simply because you don't have to buy Bitcoin MYK. You can take your Bitcoin, the Bitcoin that you hold, you can always trade it relationally to not traded, I'm sorry, just claim it based on the Bitcoin you hold. So you're not giving up any of your Bitcoin, you're claiming your Bitcoin MYK free. And as the network value grows from that, you're able to transfer this represented value of Bitcoin across networks. Transactions are free and fast. And so that's why these projects just make more sense how they're designed to address the issues at hand. All right, here on the Bitcoin MYK site. And the Bitcoin MYK site is a universal basic income project, but it has a few interesting ideas with it. It is also part of a Bitcoin fork. And what that does is that allows for Bitcoin MYK to give its value to all the Bitcoin network, and the rest of the value that's not claimed throughout the value of the network goes to pay universal basic income to the site members, right? There's no need to buy the cryptocurrency, although because the value creates a value to the network that can be used to basically advertise content. Basically, the transactional system is free anywhere in the world and it's very fast. Because of the value that it carries, um, there does exist exchanges for the cryptocurrency. However, because Bitcoin holders can claim it for free at any time, and the Bitcoin network itself exists as a basically a decentralized network that it is not a security. Um, Again, we tend to look at the Bitcoin MYK project more like an overlay. But the reason these projects make such a great deal of sense, the reason that the Bitcoin MYK network is gaining quite a bit of market activity and users, and due to its deflationary quality, the value seems to be going up. It's because many in cryptocurrency believe universal basic income in itself to be a mass adoption vehicle. And what you have to understand about that is, at the end of the day, the networks themselves are the value, the community, right? The community is the value. It doesn't really matter how much technology you have into a product. The technology is only as useful as it is to the market that it serves. So people who believe in the idea of universal basic income put in the package of a cryptocurrency can understand that such a large population of people unbanked uh, find value in such networks. And because of that, you're going to have people using the site, joining the network, and that network connection is what's going to create the actual value as it lies under Metcalfe's law. Now, that means as well the Bitcoin MYK project has managed now to get thousands upon thousands of wallets. The website itself is valued around hundreds of thousands of dollars. The market cap has been as high as millions of dollars. And this has been quite interesting, seeing that many people have a very concept wise, they have it's very difficult for them to understand the idea of you can just get free money. I guess in short, it's not so much that it's free, but when you understand how robotics and automations work, you can easily translate the root word of robot, which translates to slave, into, it's not so much that it's free, but now you've allowed the AI systems and the robot systems, even if you look at something like Amazon, that is an automated system for the most part. That's one of the most valuable companies in the world right now. I think it might be number two company wise. I think it might fall right under Walmart if I'm not incorrect here. But if you can understand how so much value can come from a computer, a website, a program website, creating that much value, then it begins to become easy to understand if you recreate something like that, but you give the value in the network to the people, that those systems have done the work, right? And they have done the work, and although it seems you're getting it free, you're actually getting it from the work of these bots, right? And so that's one way to understand it. But because of that, understanding free transactions, fast, right, which is what you get with the Bitcoin MYK project. Right now, you can send a cryptocurrency anywhere in the world free and fast. In other words, you can be a banked person, or an unbanked person can become a banked person for free and send cryptocurrency and value across the globe for free. Now, you can easily see the value in that existing on the blockchain, and you can as well see how bank and money wire transfer services make money, charging so much money. So there are many use cases in that, and there are many reasons for such systems to have value, right? Uh, Now, also something very important came up during Richard Hart's interview, and that's why isn't he properly listed on CoinMarketCap, right? He talked about the corruption and the various things that go on when these cryptocurrency projects that are in competition with you or against you, or even these large networks people fear like Google, Facebook, and the like. Uh, a lot of these systems that exist are connected with them some way or dependent on them. So if these systems see you as a threat for in any way, they can easily start to do things to shut you down. Like we've been lately getting messages for some of our browsers and users to the Bitcoin MYK site saying it's a deceptive network, right? We've checked. We have no hacks we're aware of. We have no incidents of people losing any money as to date, as much of our technology depends on other systems, right? But they're trying to say we're a phishing network, right? Although we ask for very limited information. So some of you may get a message that talks about us being dangerous and so on and so forth. If it's a Google browser, first of all, I would consider trying to use us on another type of browser because you might get that message. We are contacting Google to have that taken down, but through the bureaucracy of Google, that can take time. That can take days or months for some. It all depends. And also, we have to remember Google is a centralized entity that can shut down any activity for any reasons, but you can still access the site safely through many means, through many different browsers and many different technologies. So we hope that that doesn't, uh, cause you to, not try us out. But just like in Richard Hart's case, where Hex early on was accused of being a scam, whereas it's not been listed properly on CoinMarketCap, although it should, and many of these things. We know that these big entities can stop us, and it's very funny that they try to stop the projects I think that do the most good for the people, make the most sense. The Hexcoin project just donated over $27 million, as I understand it, to the Sens Foundation and the preservation and very useful, important topics like helping you longevity of life and helping you live a healthier life. And something like Bitcoin MYK that does universal basic income, and that's going to help people to meet their basic needs. Of course, if you can't meet your basic needs, you're not going to be healthy, happy, and all of the above. So many of these projects are that make sense, do a lot of that. Now, many of the other cryptocurrency projects that are gambling schemes, that are DeFi projects that are constantly being hacked. The biggest one just occurred, right, that we're well aware of, right? All of that loss in money and value serves no purpose in the advancement of mankind. It doesn't help anybody. But the projects that do and are valuable seem to be targeted by bigger entities that wish to do harm. I say do more harm to the people and the users who will benefit the most from this, but you have to be your own judge of that. Do your own research. Uh, the Bitcoin MYK community, you can speak with them on Discord. You can speak with them on the site itself. If you're afraid to use the site because you've got some message from one of these entities that in some cases are just doing their jobs. I found out that there are people inside of companies like Google and YouTube that aren't on the up and up, and they're very biased, as many people know. And then we found people just trying to do their jobs and protect consumers and end users, which we can understand that. But at the same time, what happens through the process, these processes, is that even if they declare that there's a problem with your site and go to correct it, or if there's nothing wrong with your site and they're saying things like it may be something or they may suspect something, those things in themselves hurt our products. That may not even be true, and it blocks the end user and keeps them from opportunities where maybe it shouldn't. So in those cases, we do have to be careful of that. But we just want to make you all aware of these things if you're having that problem. But that's all I want to say in this video. These are the projects in cryptocurrency that make the most sense in the next coming months. We believe many of these cryptocurrencies will be declared securities and the values will decline greatly in them. So be very careful. Do as much research as you can in cryptocurrency. We hope you join us, pay us a visit. We think you will really like the project and want to be a part of it. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to us and watch videos on the Education Entertainment television channel. We'll try to leave a link in the description. But that's all I want to say in the video. Until next time, as always, take care.